enjoy the day in a safe environment, a reinvigorating environment. To our committed administrators, you have my deep esteem and appreciation. I've asked much of you, given you new expectations, imposed elevated standards, and pushed you daily to give more to the university. You have responded and continue to grow and march forward undeterred and undaunted. I also offer my thanks to our extraordinary Board of Regents. Thanks for being here today, Chairman Benham. They didn't ask me, but you're the right choice for this time. My thanks to our foundation trustees under the leadership of Dr. Fraser Wilson and all of our supporters, partners, friends, alumni, and donors. Each of you have in some form or fashion contributed mightily to the excellence and achievement over this past academic year and helped pave the way into our future. Let me take a moment to talk about our most recent former chairman of the Board of Regents, Brandon Simmons. It would take far too long to talk about the professional and personal journey Brandon Simmons and I have been engaged in over this past year. I will simply say this partnership has been markedly remarkable in many.
Texas Southern University President J.W. Crawford speaking there for the State of the University address. Let's transition here and talk about Wings Over Houston this weekend and talk with a couple of individuals who are there right now. What's going on?
Hello. Hey, Delon. I have a couple of guys out here at Wings Over Houston. First, we have the executive director, Bill Roach, and he's going to tell us everything we can expect this weekend, the ins and outs and all the great stuff happening.
Hello, everybody. Want you to come out to see this wonderful show we got out here this year. Going to be great weather. We're crossing our fingers for that mostly. We've got sometimes the only time we have two B-29 bombers flying at the show. That's only happened very few times. And my friend Joe here is going to fly a 777 airplane, first time flying that low around our crowd. So it's going to be a first time for several things here this year.
Yeah, United Airlines flight demonstration team is really excited to be here. We're looking forward to it. It is our first time at the Wings Over Houston Airshow, and really only the second time we branched out beyond our maintenance base in San Francisco, where we typically fly the 777 and the Fleet Week Airshow. But we're excited to be here at the Wings Over Houston, and if you come on out, you're going to love the show. It's a really nice show that we've got for you, and guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Flying a big plane like that for a demo, a 777, what can people expect? You don't think about that normally at an air show.
Well, we are an airline. We're trying to demonstrate, just to show you the airplane, that we can take you in from here to Tokyo or Brazil or any place you want to go. It's just a chance to look at our airplane, show our brand, and show you what we can do. Obviously, we don't fly when we put passengers on the airplane. We don't fly them across the ground at air shows, but it just gives you a chance to look at a Boeing 777, see what it can do when we're max performing the airplane, and a chance to look at the brand and look at the airplane, the Boeing 777, in front of the air show crowd.
And Bill, even though we sadly don't have the Thunderbirds this year because of the federal shutdown, there's so many other exciting things to see. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the highlights?
Yeah, sure. Like we mentioned a little bit earlier, we have the only flyable two B-29s in the world sitting on the ramp right behind us. Both are going to fly for you here in Houston. It's never happened before and probably won't ever again. So if you're going to come to the air show, you better see it now, because you may not ever get that chance. And I'm really excited to see the 777 too. I've flown on airplanes, but I've never been that close to a passenger jet flying low and slow and overhead. I don't think anybody's seen that. So we're glad to have that happen for the first time here in Houston.
Well, you get a chance to see it fly low and slow and low and fast, and get a chance to see us do some maneuvering in the airplane, and get a good look at the airplane.
Yeah, and we got Vietnam era jets out here. So we still got jets, we still got planes, we got a lot of noise that's going to happen here. We're going to have some pyrotechnics, blowing some stuff up there, so a little excitement for everybody. We got cars on display, airplanes, we got a tank out here even. We've got World War II vehicles and Vietnam era vehicles, so there's something out here for everybody. We've got a kid zone. So from little kids to big kids. There's something here for everybody.
Tell me a little bit about the demonstrations, like the up in the sky, the recreations that you've done in the past. What kind of things are you doing this year?
Oh, well, the schedule changed a little bit, but we've got jumpers, depending on the winds that are going to be out here. Remax jump team jumps in our show, and they'll be circled by aerobatic aircraft, and that'll be interesting, kind of official opening of the show. We do a full World War II demonstration. This is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, thank God, for the end of that nasty thing. But we're here to honor the veterans that served our country then, all the way up to present military. That's what we do here at the show. So the past, the recent past, and the future. We've got something out here for everybody. We're even going to blast off a rocket here from Anuak High School. So this is the second year they're doing that. I missed it last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing that thing take off.
Oh, that's great. Thank you guys for taking the time. We're looking forward to all the excitement. Back to you guys.
All right, good stuff for this
you.
weekend. We're going to head to break. We'll be back after this.
Fox 26 is YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Let's talk sports for a second and listen in to Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans.
Fire away.
Doesn't blitz a lot, but they still able to get some pressure. What kind of challenges does just a four-man rush present for offensive linemen, and what are some of the things that are unique about how they approach rushing the passer?
The Seahawks defensive line is definitely the strong group of their team, right? They're relying on their D-line to get after the quarterback, and they can do it without pressure. They do a really good job of just executing their stunts. I think when you want to run the games and the stunts, you got to have guys who can really pry it open. And they got big guys inside who can really play fast off the ball, really penetrate and open it up for guys to, create havoc up the middle of the pocket. So we just have to be aware of where they're aligned. We got to be aware, and we got to finish. That's the main thing. Like, it's not going to be anything that we haven't seen before. We just have to be on it. We have to be able to communicate, and we have to be able to just strain to finish.
When it comes to Sam Darnold and some of the things you saw from him last year when he has time to operate, what do you see from him as a pocket passer?
Sam has done a great job this year of hitting his targets. A very explosive offense, one and foremost because he's able to deliver the football at all three levels of the football field. Right, does a really nice job of throwing the ball deep. JSN did a really nice job making plays on the football as well. So, and they protect it well. So he's done a good job of spreading the ball around, making good decisions with the football. And that's why he's been having a really good year.
That might have been in college, so he might not have been around here much. Do you have any memories of him, and what do you like about, or what do you respect about what he's done with that offense?
And Clint's done a nice job.
Thanks for joining us here. Rashi Vats is up next with more news for you.
Fox 26 is the
Good afternoon, everyone. We have made it to Friday. If it is your Friday, happy Friday to you. It is October 17th at 2 o'clock p.m. A lot going on, and we're going to catch you up with everything. A lot going on right now. So we do understand that the President Trump, is meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and they're talking about a Tomahawk deal with helping Kyiv and also how to attack Russia. So we are expecting to hear from Zelensky and also President Trump coming up a little bit later. They're speaking right now with each other, and they are going to bring us those live reports, so we will go there. Also, there's this drama with Turkey Leg Hut. A lot of people can't believe it, but the former owner now charged with helping someone hide. They're charged with kidnapping, and she's charged with possibly having this person in their custody and hiding from them. Also, 3 teenagers charged with the murder of a rideshare driver here in Harris County. So those are just some of those stories. But first, though, we want to talk about your weekend plans. Let's go ahead and make them. I know we were talking about possibly going to the Houston Zoo.
Okay.
The weather's supposed to be nice.
That is a perfect plan.
Right?
Yeah, anything outdoors, as long as you're kind of in between 1 or 2 hit or miss storms that may pop up, you should be fine. Of course, we've been very quiet but very dry dry. So we have the high fire danger, drought conditions getting worse. We need some rain. I don't like it when I have to tell you about rain coming on the weekend, but at this point, I think most people will agree we'll take that rain whenever we can get it.
Yes, definitely.
You may have some minor delays in your zoo plans, your beach plans, park plans, pool plans, but I think you'll be able to squeeze in whatever you're trying to do outside. Just keep an eye to the sky. Make sure you have a way to get alerts. There's a low chance for maybe a few storms, especially tomorrow afternoon. But isn't this a nice sight on our Friday? We've got some rain showing up on our Fox Red radar. Liberty County, just north of Liberty, north of Daycetta. We've got a few downpours there, very small, but it is still rain, so enjoy it if you're getting it at your house or where you work. Farther south and west of Houston, right around Needville, Sweeney, Wharton, Eagle Lake, Katy, more showers are popping up on our Fox Red radar. So this is going to be the trend. It's not going to be for everyone, but where we have the rain, it could be briefly heavy at times. Not really expecting anything severe today, although tomorrow a few of these showers and storms could get on the strong side. We could have maybe a brief 50, 55 mile per hour wind gusts and some small hail. At this point, it's just plain old rain out there. Much needed rain. Showers drifting in from the south to the north. If you've been outside today, I'm sure you have noticed that it is much more humid, and that is a good thing because the really dry air, the dry ground has led to high fire danger for the last several days, and our drought conditions have been getting increasingly worse. Of course, yesterday, the drought monitor did come out for this week, and the extreme to exceptional drought continues to worsen and get a little more widespread across Austin, San Antonio. So our drought conditions are not that bad, but we do have that one little area of severe drought that has crept back into some of our western spots, very close to Eagle Lake and Wharton and just west of East Bernard. Notice Cypress, Sugar Land, Houston in that abnormally dry category, but we do have northeast Harris County, southeast Montgomery County, and most of Liberty County in that D1 moderate drought. So that rain is a good thing, and hopefully we'll get a lot more of it. We're warm and humid today. We've got the scattered showers. Like I said, we need more of this rain because we've got just about every single county under a burn ban at this point, including Harris County. That was the most recent county to be added. But if you're down in Galveston County, Brazoria County, you're not in the burn ban, but really anywhere across Southeast Texas, outdoor burning, not really the best idea in this type of environment. So even though we have a few showers, a little bit more humidity out there today, the fire threat is still a little elevated. So you want to make sure to keep these things on this list in mind. Make sure to obey those burn bans and other restrictions. Here's the issue. We do have more humidity, more rain expected for today and tomorrow, but a cold front is going to drop in Sunday morning, and that is going to bring in super dry air and kind of kick up the wind a little bit. So we're going to flip right back to that really high fire danger likely by Sunday afternoon and on Monday. So our fire danger is a little on the elevated side, but overall things are going to improve a bit with the fire weather conditions because we do have the rain chances and this front heading our way. Right now, temperatures are in the 80s, upper 80s for H-Town, close to 90. So once again, it's the middle of October, and soon we'll be getting closer to the end of October, and it is a little too warm for this time of the year. We should be around 83 for our high, so we're about 5 degrees above that. Thank goodness there's a cold front starting to push into the western part of the state. That front will help to kick off some strong, possibly severe storms today across the Central Plains, stretching from Kansas City to Wichita to Oklahoma City. I don't think we're worried about any severe weather here, but the showers will be around, spotty to scattered. Now, here's the concern for tomorrow. The severe threat will dip a little closer to us tomorrow. In fact, parts of Walker County, Polk, San Jacinto, Trinity counties in that low risk for a few severe storms. We haven't said that in a while, at least not for our area. So we're not talking about a tornado outbreak, but maybe a brief storm that could pulse up and produce a 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe hail up to about an inch. That would be quarter size, and some very heavy rain. Rain we need. That's the good part. We don't want the severe weather though. As far as temperatures, not really looking like we're going to be in store for a huge change in this pattern, even though we've got a front coming through this weekend. long-range models are still indicating for the 6 to 10 day outlook that there is a good shot for more above average temps. We just can't seem to get rid of this heat. Even with the front coming through, it's not really going to bring in any cooler air, maybe a few degrees cooler. I think the coolest time frame will be Monday morning. So get out there, go for your walk, plan your run. If you can, if you're training for your marathon, which I know you are,
yes.
Monday morning will be great because temps will be near 60 if you get out there around 7 to 8 a.m.
Okay.
And then we start to heat up after
You know,
that.
I might do that. I was thinking
That's the
about
time.
it.
That's the best window to take advantage of this so-called cold front.
All right.
This alleged cold front.
Yes, I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
And if I survive.
You'll survive
right,
Monday.
yes. I know.
It's the rest of the week.
That you need luck with. All right,
Yes.
I appreciate it. Okay, now to a story very surprising. There are 3 teenagers who are charged in the death of a man, a Harris County rideshare driver, actually. He is 28 years old. Now, all of this happened on September 4th, and our Jillian Hartman is live for us to give us details on how all of this unfolded.
Yeah, definitely a tragic case. 3 teenage boys were arrested and charged in connection to the shooting death of an Uber driver. We have his photo here. Here's the victim in this case, 28-year-old Jake Wynn. He was actually a Marine Corps veteran, and authorities say he was shot to death and found lying on the road in September. Now, I spoke with Jake's brother days after his death, and he said that Jake was working for Uber to help take care of his mom and sister, and their family immigrated to Houston from Vietnam. Now, deputies say on September 4th, around 11 p.m., they were called to Lakewood Forest Drive and found Jake shot and killed. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says that 3 teenagers shot Jake, stole his car and belongings, and they say that a 15-year-old was charged with capital murder, a 14 and 13-year-old were charged with tampering with evidence, and all 3 teenagers are in the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center. Now, with the severity of this case, I spoke with an attorney who says the 15-year-old facing capital murder could be tried as an adult. Take a listen.
Because of his age, he is over 14 years old, so the DA's office has a couple of options. One option is they can try him in the juvenile courts, where he can get a sentence of up to 40 years with the possibility of a transfer to the adult prison or parole system once he is an adult. The other option is they can seek certification and ask that the court waive its jurisdiction and essentially send that child to the adult criminal system. Now, even though he'd be in the adult system, he could not face the death penalty and could only face a life sentence if the judge or the jury considers the fact that he is a juvenile.
Now, as for the other 2 teenagers, I'm told that they face 3rd-degree felony charges, so they could get a sentence up to 10 years. Now, I'm told that the 14-year-old could be charged as an adult, not the 13-year-old. Back to you.
All right, Jillian, definitely really, really sad. We know that he was a rideshare driver to support his family, and the suspects allegedly shot Jake and took his belongings as well, according to Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez when he put this out on X. All right, we'll be following that story. Also, let's bring you live video of a scene here. We do believe that there's going to be a press conference any moment now, but I want to catch you up. Okay, so this is in the Spring area, the Precinct 4 Constable's office. They're investigating this deadly shooting. It happened on Hanover Forest Drive. And right here, this is a live look at the scene. We're kind of stationed here because this is where the press conference is supposed to be. But if you look more to your right, you can see some of that crime scene tape there. Now, according to deputies, this happened at around 10:45 this morning. One woman in her 60s was found dead. Another woman in her 20s was detained by police. Now, we're told they were all related and both live at the location. I'm assuming that it's the one of the houses that's right behind that tape there where it's cordoned off. Now, we're told they're, again, related, and we're going to continue to update you on this story as we learn more information. We do understand that a press conference is supposed to take place pretty soon. It does look like a law enforcement officer or investigator is walking up to the podium to give us more information on this deadly shooting that happened earlier today. Again, Precinct 4 Constable's office, they're the ones that are currently investigating. So let's listen in to see what they have to say in regards to this deadly shooting.
Hey, please go start. Yep. All right, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
sir. Rolling.
Sergeant Gregory Pinkins, Harris County Sheriff's Office Homicide. It's P-I-N-K-I-N-S. Approximately 10:45 a.m. this morning, Harris County Precinct 4 deputies responded to a discharge of firearms in the 21,300 block of Hanover Forest up in North Harris County. They received that call from a contractor who was working as a resident cleaning the pool when he heard several gunshots. He left the scene. He directed Precinct 4 deputies to the residence that he was at, and upon making entry into the residence, deputies discovered a approximately 61-year-old black female deceased from apparent gunshot wounds. There was another female on scene. That female was detained. She's approximately 21 years old. 27 years old, excuse me. As of right now, the homicide unit has taken over the investigation, and we've learned that they were the only two individuals inside the residence. There are no other occupants or anyone who lives inside the residence, no kids or anything like that. So we don't believe there's any type of public threat, nor is there anyone else that we believe to be injured at this time. We don't know what caused this incident. The 27-year-old female has been detained and for allegedly shooting who we believe to be her grandmother. So at this time, everything's still under investigation. I'll take any kind of questions that you may have.
Problems in this household?
They've had some calls here. Probably the latest call was probably a year or two ago at this point. Nothing over concerning, no. A welfare check, something like a welfare check.
Who does the weapon belong to?
We don't know. Our crime scene unit is here. They're processing the scene right now. There was a weapon that was discovered on the scene, but that weapon has not been disturbed right now because we're documenting the scene right now.
And I guess you don't have a motive, or was there anything taken, or was it in the process taken, like a robbery?
No, there's no indication of any type of robbery, no forced entry. Those were the only two females there when the deputies arrived. And there again, the 27-year-old was detained for allegedly shooting the 61-year-old.
Is she cooperating?
At this time, detectives, she's been taken to be interviewed. I don't know if she's talking or anything. She did not talk while out here, though.
Was the body found inside the house?
I'm sorry?
Was the body found inside the house?
Body's inside the house at the in the kitchen area.
Do you have any names?
No, I'm not releasing the names as of right now.
So where were the gunshot wounds?
There were several gunshots. However, I can't tell you where until the medical examiner's office gets out here, and then we can do a thorough review of her body and the injuries.
How long will it take for her to get charged, and what will be the charges?
Well, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I'm not saying that she's going to be charged. We will do our investigation and refer all of the information that we get to the district attorney's office, and they will determine if any charges will be filed.
Do we know the age of anybody involved here? Okay. Are they mother-daughter?
No, we believe that it's granddaughter and grandmother.
The female that's detained, does she live at the residence?
Yes, that's the information that we have. That she and the victim lived at the residence.
Have y'all been able to collect any surveillance video of that?
Not at this point. And the shooting did occur inside, but we still will be canvassing the neighborhood for video just in case.
Is there a history of violence or domestic violence?
No.
The name of your title again?
Sergeant Greg Pinkins, Harris County Sheriff's Office Homicide, and that's P-I-N-K-I-N-S. All right, thank you.
All right, we were just listening into a press conference about this shooting. Really crazy information here. So apparently, according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, this happened on the 23,300 block of Hanover Forest, north side. So there was a contractor that was cleaning the pool at the residence where this happened, and the shooting happened around the kitchen area. Here is the crazy thing. So it was a 27-year-old female who allegedly shot at her 61-year-old grandmother, and the grandmother died at the scene. This is video from earlier today. All of this happening at 10:45 a.m. Now, investigators say that that female, the 27-year-old, was detained, and while she was in that area before being taken into custody and being interviewed, she wasn't speaking at all. And there was a weapon that was recovered. Now, investigators also saying there were multiple shots that were fired. They didn't say how many shots hit the grandmother, but the relationship between the shooter and the person who was shot and killed is of a grandmother and the granddaughter. So very disheartening there. Now, they are not saying what they know as a motive, don't know what happened, no other threats to the public. It was just them two inside of the house. They both live there. When it comes to other situations where police might have been called, there was something that happened maybe a year or two ago, and it was nothing disturbing. It was more of a welfare check. So nothing alarming that police should have been in that area to watch out for some sort of danger. But again, if you are just joining us, a shooting happened, a deadly shooting at 10:45 this morning. And according to investigators, they just told us live here on Houston Live and Local that a 27-year-old female detained after shooting and killing her grandmother, a 61-year-old black female there. So this is something that she will possibly be charged with. More information will be coming out. They have not released the names of the victim or the shooter, the alleged shooter. So we'll be sure to stay on top of this for you as more details do become available. All right, now let's turn to the turkey leg hut. A lot of people surprised by this one. The former owner is charged, and she's charged with the fact that she's helped a felon accused of kidnapping, and that felon was allegedly her boyfriend. So Nakia Holmes was in court this morning, and our Jade Fleury was there to recap it all for us.
So listen, my client is innocent. We are confident that when all of this plays out, she will be found innocent of all the charges and will be exonerated.
The former co-owner of the turkey leg hut appearing in a Harris County courtroom Friday morning. Police arrested Nakia Holmes Wednesday. She's currently facing a felony of hindering apprehension charge for allegedly hiding Jonathan Saison from police. Court records say Holmes let him stay at her house in Cypress while there was a warrant out for his arrest for aggravated kidnapping. Investigators say earlier this month, Saison kidnapped his ex-girlfriend and beat her several hours, including with a tire iron, while out on bond. Holmes was part owner of the turkey leg hut with her now ex-husband Lindell Price. He's currently in jail waiting on federal charges related to arson in 2020. Investigators say Price worked with others to set fire to bar 5015, which was owned by Price's former business partner.
All right, well, still ahead right after the break, we're going to be talking about day 17 of the government shutdown and the latest developments as we go into the weekend. Tomorrow, hundreds of thousands expected to gather across the country to protest the Trump administration at No Kings rallies. It's the second nationwide event, with the first one happening back in June. More than 2,700 events, they're scheduled across the country. And in Houston also, that includes Katy, the Woodlands, and downtown at Discovery Green. The organizers say the peaceful demonstrations are all to defend democracy and voice opposition to the development of the military in U.S. cities, funding cuts, and extreme deportation policies. All right, now we're going into the weekend. It is day 17 of the government shutdown. It seems to be nowhere in sight where we're seeing some sort of end. So there was a fail to pass a Republican-backed bill to provide funding for just the Pentagon. And earlier this morning, both sides spoke. So let's listen into what they had to say.
Those credits go away. That same couple will now pay more than $20,000 a year. They cannot afford that. These are working class Americans living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get by, can barely survive, yet alone thrive. In this country, and this is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. So House and Senate Democrats are going to continue to hold firm as it relates to a basic common sense position that when we enact spending bills, we should be helping the American people, not hurting them. And so we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. But we will continue to extend that offer to our Republican colleagues and to President Trump and members of his administration. Let's sit down in good faith to reopen the government, to stand by our hardworking federal employees, to enact a spending bill that actually improves the quality of life of the American people, and to address the health care crisis that Republicans have created, devastating people all across the country, including in rural America, in black and brown communities all throughout America, in urban America, in the heartland of America, and in small town America. Questions?
There you go. Thank you. It's looking increasingly unlikely that the shutdown will end before the end of the month, and some members of your conference have said that they'll forego paychecks at the end of the month during the shutdown. Are you going to make the same commitment now that it's getting closer?
We have a caucus meeting later on today. I think that's going to be one of the issues that we'll discuss.
You are demanding that Grijalva be sworn in this afternoon. If she is not, what are you planning on doing, and are you going to be there for the profile?
All options are on the table with respect to Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. It's shameful that she has not been sworn in because Speaker Johnson and House Republicans apparently want to continue to hide the Jeffrey Epstein files from the American people. This has gone on now for weeks. And so it's my expectation that if she is not sworn in today, during the pro forma session today, as the Arizona Attorney General has made clear, expect swift and decisive legal action.
Following up on Grijalva, did you hear back from the Speaker in response to the letter that you sent him yesterday?
I have not heard back from the Speaker yet, but House Republicans and Senate Republicans have gone radio silent since the Oval Office meeting that took place about 3 weeks ago, because they have no defensible position. Their position is, we want to continue to benefit the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, and promote the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. That's the Republican position. That's what they did with their one big ugly bill. Largest cut to Medicaid in American history, devastating people across the country, ripping food from the mouths of children, and they did all of that so they could reward their billionaire donors with massive permanent tax breaks. And now with the Affordable Care Act tax credits expiring, they have zero interest in spending a dime to help out working class Americans. By the way, same group of people that found $20 billion, matched by another $20 billion, that the American taxpayers will be on the hook for $40 billion in total to bail out Argentina, and they can't find a dime to protect the health care of the American people. This is extraordinary stuff. And no word from the Speaker about any of it.
It is so difficult to be a happy warrior when you know that so many millions of American
people are suffering, being made to suffer unnecessarily because of the Democrats' political games. If you're keeping count at home, we're on day 17 of the shutdown. The Democrats have now voted for the 11th time to keep the government closed. 11 times now. They've refused to just do their basic job, get the government going again, making sure that federal employees are paid, that our troops are paid, Border Patrol agents, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, and everyone else who relies upon the vital services of our federal government. They're being denied that because Democrats in Congress are playing games. And right now, to add insult to injury, if you're paying attention at home, you also need to make note of this. Yesterday, the Senate Democrats took it a step further. They rejected a standalone bill to fund our nation's defense and pay our troops. They voted it down. Now, why is that so noteworthy? Well, the bill was passed out of committee in the Senate with broad bipartisan support. And yet, the Democrats still engaged in a stunt on the floor, and they rejected it. So now they are on record specifically and exclusively to block the paychecks of the troops, to block the funding of our national defense in a very dangerous moment in world history. It is absurd to us. Leader Thune said this on the floor, on the Senate floor after that vote. He said, quote, "That one vote demonstrates just how fundamentally disinterested Democrats are in supporting our troops and providing for our common defense." Yes, that is exactly what we saw. And I suspect that if they were here today and it was on the floor, they'd do it once again. Now, tomorrow, the Democrat leaders are going to join for a big party out on the National Mall. They're going to descend on our Capitol for their much-anticipated so-called No Kings rally. We refer to it by its more accurate description, the Hate America rally, okay? And I'm not sure how anybody can refute that. If you think about what's going to happen here tomorrow, you're going to bring together the Marxists, the socialists, the Antifa advocates, the anarchists, and the pro-Hamas wing of the far-left Democrat Party. That is the modern Democratic Party. That's where they've gone. And the Hate America rally is the common theme among all those groups. Listen to the language they use themselves. Many of them don't like living in America. They hate capitalism. They hate our free enterprise system. They hate our principles. They hate the ideas that we come in to work every day to fight for, to preserve, in the greatest nation in the history of the world. They hate the idea of individual freedom and limited government. They hate the idea of the rule of law. They fight against it all the time. They hate the idea of peace through strength. They lobby against it all the time. Individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, human dignity, the things that lead to human flourishing, the things that made us the greatest nation in the history of the world. They're opposed to law enforcement. They're opposed to military. And their votes show it over and over. That's the collection of voices that you'll hear tomorrow that the Democrats will go out and raise their hands with and cheer with. And some of these people are so blinded by their hatred of President Donald Trump that they can't find one reason to celebrate America or all that we've accomplished and continue to accomplish under this new administration. Now, obviously, every American has every right to exercise their First Amendment freedoms. I'm personally a big advocate of that. I spent the first 20 years of my legal career in the federal courts before I came to Congress defending the right to free speech. They have the right to do it. Republicans, by the way, are the party that fights to maximize your liberty. And we believe, just as our founders did, that every American has been endowed by God himself with unalienable rights, and that includes the rights to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
All right, and we'll be right back. big shakeup over in the White House when it comes to journalists. We do know that 40 of them turned in their badges. This was on Wednesday. And there's still some questions that remain over the Pentagon's new reporting rules. And our legal analyst, Chris, he came in to talk about if the policy violates First Amendment rights.
Chris, first of all, thank you for your time here this morning. So when we talk about information coming from reporters there in the Pentagon, maybe it's not been approved by the Department of Defense, whether it be classified, unclassified, whatever it may be. Is this a violation of the free press?
No. So the government can limit a reporter's access to government property if they do. A reporter doesn't have the right to go on government property any more than the general public. They don't have any greater access than I do, or any other person has a right to go on government property. So they can limit your access to the property. They can attempt to force you not to publish things. You go back to the Pentagon papers back in the 70s when government said you can't have these papers. They lost that case in the end. But the core question becomes, can government say you don't have the right to access to our people if you're on our property? They can impose those rules, and the press can say, then we're not going to play on your property anymore, which is exactly what happened.
Where does the First Amendment come into all of that, and just how much they're able to limit access to the media?
And so the government doesn't, under the First Amendment, the government does not have the right to say, this is the content you will publish. And so the press said, we won't report off your property anymore if that's the rules you want us to play by. We'll just gather our information other ways in other places. We're not going to sign your document that says we will not report this way on your property. We're not going to do it this way. We'll leave. And that's exactly what they did. They refused to sign a document that says we will not have our reports vetted by you. We will not talk to people and get sources, unnamed sources. All the things that a reporter does, Pete Hegseth said, you will not do on my property. And so they said, we're going to leave.
So when we talk about even how oftentimes we file freedom of information requests, FOIAs and things like that as well, any of that conflicting with federal statutes and things that would impact what we do for our job every day.
So what Pete Hegseth did does not violate the Freedom of Information Act, because what a reporter is doing with unnamed sources and things like that is not the Freedom of Information Act. It's going and talking to people in parking garages and things like that, and getting unnamed sources for information, and gathering their stories that way. That's what Pete Hegseth doesn't want to have happen.
What happens? Let's say someone signed that. They get their media credentials revoked. What does that look like, and what does that mean for the rest of, let's say it's a TV station or a newspaper, whoever it is?
Right. And so every government agency that has a newsroom has agreements, and they had an agreement in place first already, that if you have a press pass, you sign an agreement to go into the newsroom, and if it gets revoked, there is a process for you to appeal it. And think back to Donald Trump's first term with the CNN reporter, I can't remember his name now, but he had his revoked, and he sued and won. And there's a process to appeal through their system to appeal that, and if you lose the appeal, then you can sue, which they did, and they won. And so the Fifth Amendment gives you a due process right to appeal through the government if they take your property away. A press pass in the executive branch is property that you have, and you get a due process right to appeal all the way up through the courts if they take that away, and that's what you would get.
You make all this so easy to understand, and I was so confused and scratching my head about this. I get it now. Thank you for that, Chris.
You bet.
Makes sense. All right, now we understand.
All right, let's head over to North Texas, where we understand a leader of the Muslim American Society in Dallas was actually hit with several federal charges. Now, Fox's Alex Boyer reports.
Marwan Maroof, a leader with the Muslim American Society of Dallas and founder of North Texas's largest Boy Scout troop, has been held at the Bluebonnet Detention Center near Abilene for 24 days. On Thursday, the fight to get him released on bond became more difficult. Federal officials charged him with overstaying his visa. Plus,
this time they have stated that not only is he an arriving alien not in possession of a valid visa, but that he made various donations to HLF between 1994 and 2001.
HLF stands for the Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, a prominent Islamic charity based out of Richardson that was shut down by the federal government in 2001, which accused it of supporting Hamas terrorists. Maroof's legal team deny any wrongdoing by their client.
We received bad news in court today, and we are going to regroup, and we are going to move forward in federal court.
Maroof legally entered the U.S. as a student back in 1991 and was later sponsored on a work visa. He was detained by ICE agents last month on the same day his application for a green card was denied. His legal team has filed a petition in federal court in an effort to get him released on bond.
There's a dispute going on about whether this gentleman should be here or not.
David Cole is a constitutional law attorney not involved in this case. He offers this perspective.
The Department of Homeland Security has taken the position in the last few months through their highest internal court that there's not a right to do that. There's not a right to post bond for certain types of disputes about immigration. And this gentleman falls in that category.
Maroof's eldest son says the family is in turmoil.
At every hearing, new charges are being added or amended. It feels like they're trying to see what will stick. It's incredibly stressful, and it's heartbreaking to try to explain this to my two younger siblings and to my mother.
All right, now let's go to Governor Greg Abbott. So we do know he made a speech in the Texas Nuclear Summit in Austin, and we do understand that it was earlier this year that Governor Abbott signed House Bill 14 into law. And if you don't know about that, it establishes the Texas Advanced Nuclear Energy Office.
Because what I'm about to tell you, any state could match. It is replicable, it is scalable. It's just that we haven't seen another state commit to it the same way that we have. Another person who I think is not here, but it will be involved in a lot of your business operations or can be a great assistance to you is the person in charge of economic development for the state of Texas, Cruz. And together what we've been able to achieve by leading America in economic development, our motto is that Texas moves at the speed of business. There was one event that captured that more than anything else. So I'm going to tell you about this one event, but I'm going to preface that by saying that you'll think, well, obviously this is a big event, I'm about to tell you about it. But I want you to know that we treat every business, whether you've been here for 20 years or whether you're here for the very first time, we treat every business the same way because it's the way we do business. The story is when I first met Elon Musk. It was in April of 2020 when he came to the Capitol to meet with me, and all of his business operations were in some state other than the state of Texas. And he came to me and said he needed to build a gigafactory from the beginning stage of turning dirt to completing the gigafactory to having vehicles roll off of it in less than 18 months. My first question was, have you ever tried building a house? If you have, and especially in Austin, Texas, it takes longer than that. But here's the deal. We already had developed this mantra that we move at the speed of business. And so my team and I, we sat down with Elon and his team, and we found out what we needed to do, whether it be the accelerating the permitting process, whether it be working with TCEQ or whatever regulatory agency. And in this case, I think there was only state-based regulations that were involved and maybe some local regulations. But we were able to accelerate that process to ensure that this gigafactory, which is more than a mile long and is larger than the Pentagon, that he was actually able to get it completed and have vehicles rolling off of it in less than 18 months. And at a time before he bought Twitter, he posted on Twitter that in Texas he was able to achieve this in less than 18 months, whereas in California, where he had been, he would not be finished with the permitting process yet. My point as applied to those here, most of you are dealing with what I'll categorize as industries or businesses that face your own share of regulations. Just because of the way we operate, we want to cut through that red tape. And we have entire teams. I'll mention some team members right now. Some of you already know who he is, and that's Toby Baker. Toby Baker is a deputy chief of staff in my office. He used to be the head of TCEQ, and he goes to work every single day trying to help us find ways we can cut red tape so we can accelerate permits for people just like those in this room here today. But we will do everything we can to accelerate your ability to get across the finish line in whatever project you're working on. For one, because that's just the way we do business. For another, we get a concept that seemingly some other states do not get. And that is, when you succeed here in Texas, the state of Texas succeeds. It's a mutual relationship. We know that when you're winning, we're winning. And so we bend over backwards to help you win, knowing it's going to endure to the benefit of us. And that may be never more true than it would be as it concerns our collective ability to get more power generated. The demand is extraordinary. I know you know that better than I do, probably. But the need for it is not 4 years from now, not 2 years from now. It is right now. And so whatever we can do to help you accelerate that process, just know that we have an entire army in the governor's office who can assist you to get to that point. So to summarize, if you look at what we've done, and we talked about what we've done before this last session, but also what we did during the course of this session. Altogether, we have amassed the resources, the structure, and the strategy to be able to advance nuclear and the nuclear renaissance in the state of Texas. Now, the last ingredient is the people. And that's where you come in. The people in this room, you have the ingenuity, the vision, the moxie to catalyze our nuclear renaissance and to build the future of nuclear power in America right here in the great state of Texas.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, you know, we've been talking about the St. Jude Dream Home, so let's tell you more about it. There is plenty of time for you to still enter a chance to win the beautiful home. The winner will be announced on November 19th right here on Fox 26, and some prizes are up for grabs as we start getting over there. I think I'm going to be visiting this home on Tuesday, so I'll be reporting live there for the 1 and 2 o'clock hour. Tan Radford sat down with the director of Dream Day Foundation, who helps St. Jude in their mission of making sure no family has to feel that financial burden of childhood cancer.
Can you just talk about the amazing prize that you guys are sponsoring?
Yeah, so Dream Day Foundation is really excited to be giving a $10,000 Visa gift card to anyone who reserves their ticket now or before October 22nd. And we just really hope that everyone reserves their tickets soon because we are going to sell out.
Perfect. So you want to talk about how they can go about reserving that ticket?
Yeah, so you can call 800-303-4413 or go to dreamhome.org to reserve your ticket today for the Houston St. Jude Dream Home and be eligible to win a $10,000 Visa gift card from Dream Day Foundation and also the home.
Tell us about the importance of Dream Day Foundation being involved in this campaign.
Dream Day Foundation, our mission is to support St. Jude. We do that through our mission-based program called Fishing Galore, where we have St. Jude families come to Louisiana. And we also support St. Jude through lots of different St. Jude Dream Homes. And we just really hope that our prize pushes someone to make that phone call or go to dreamhome.org and reserve their ticket so they can have a chance to win $10,000.
All right, what do you need to do to win that dream home? I'm seeing it. It's beautiful. A lot of people calling about it. Can you talk about the things you need to do in order to set yourself up to maybe win this home?
Yeah, it's really super easy. All you have to do is call that number 800-303-4413 or go to dreamhome.org and reserve your ticket today. It's that easy.
How much are the tickets?
Each ticket is $100 and you have a chance to win a house that's $490,000 estimated value and also the $10,000 Visa gift card.
How much time do anyone that is interested have to get their tickets?
Well, I would say you need to get it today because we're going to sell out and you don't want to wait. You don't want to put it on the back burner and call next week and there not be any more tickets. But if you do reserve your ticket before October 22nd, you will be eligible to win the $10,000 Visa gift card and the house.
So I've seen a lot of people already purchasing tickets, and we just want to talk to you about the favorite thing that you like about the home.
Yeah, so I've heard a lot about the home. I've heard that there's a waterfall island and also a really large backyard with a covered patio. So I think that's probably where I would hang out, is in the backyard. It's 2 stories. There's a 3-car garage. There's all sorts of really great things. And I can't wait to be able to tour the house and see everything that all of the builder and decorator and everything have done in the house. It's going to be beautiful.
So that's an awesome prize. You know, a lot of people are paying their $100 so they can get a chance to win this home. But we want to talk about what does the Dream Home do for St. Jude?
Yeah, so whenever you reserve your $100 ticket, you're becoming a part of a larger community that is raising money for St. Jude so that they can continue their mission of providing all of the treatment, travel, housing, and food for the St. Jude families that are arriving in Memphis so that the families, the parents, the caregivers can just love on their child and give all of their attention to healing their child and being with them during this difficult time.
And we kind of talked about St. Jude this whole interview, but why St. Jude? Why does supporting St. Jude matter to you?
Well, Dream Day Foundation has been supporting St. Jude for 31 years, and we just believe that it really does take everyone coming together. Not everybody can write a big check or do everything that a big donor might be able to, but these dream homes give us an opportunity to come together with that $100 donation to get your ticket and raise millions of dollars for St. Jude. And we just really want to help St. Jude bring cancer diagnosis to everyone and treatment. And hopefully one day we maybe don't have to do this anymore because people have donated and St. Jude has cured every child. That is our hope.
All right, good information there. Now let's take you over to a water main break. We have a live look here. Wow, it looks so flooded here, all because, again, a water main break. So to give you the exact location here, it's at 6221 Southwest Freeway near West Park, and it's causing so many flooding problems. As you can imagine, you don't see any cars on the roadway there, obviously, because they cannot get by. But it really is just so crazy to see how much water has accumulated in such a short amount of time. And this is actually very close to our studios here at Fox 26. So you can see people are detouring because they are not able to get through. You see the cones there on the feeder roadway because investigators, police officers have blocked it off. So people are having to use alternate routes. Looks like that vehicle there is turning around because of all of the water. Again, this is caused by a water main break. Now taking a live look at Houston TransStar to get another angle of this water main break. This is the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft, and this is a good shot here just because it shows how far in distance this water main break is affecting the feeder road lanes. So you can see it looks like a lake, and the roads there, Hillcroft all the way to West Park, that would be several miles on the highway there. So this right here, chopper taking you a live look where we see those vehicles on the right side of your screen. Now we're zooming out here, but if you just concentrate on the feeder road, you'll see all of this water accumulating. You have that road blocked off there and cones, and you can see right there, there's some sort of, I think, mobility response is what it says there on the vehicle, but you're having to detour because you're not able to get through because of this water main break that's been going on. It's again 6221 Southwest Freeway, right near West Park. A live look here, 59 the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft, and you can see that it is no-go for nobody because of all of that water. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this. If you are, again, traveling on Southwest Freeway, again, on the feeder roads, then you are going to experience some type of delay because you're going to have to take some detour. Look at all of that water there. You see the brown stuff right there? That's all of the water from this water main break. No vehicles able to pass by. Hopefully this is going to get cleared up by rush hour because that can really make a huge traffic mess. We're going to continue to follow this for more Houston Live and Local coming up right after the break. Houston Live and Local. We are so glad that you are here for the 3 o'clock hour. We are monitoring several things happening right now. We are expecting President Trump to speak from the Oval Office. He is meeting right now with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. They are talking about some sort of Tomahawk deal, along with many other things. So we are going to be hearing from them and bring that to you live whenever that becomes available. Also, crazy mess out on the Houston roadways, specifically the Southwest Freeway near West Park and Westland, Hillcroft area. There's this water main break that we are monitoring, taking a live look right now with Skyfox. Look at all of that water. You look in the middle of your screen there, you don't see any cars going by using the feeder road lane because of this water main break. Look at this right here. The TransStar camera shot giving us a live look, 59 the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft. You can see people trying to get through, but then they're detoured over to go through other avenues to be able to get around this mess. And it looks like it's going to take some time for this water to really clear. Hopefully this is going to be cleared up. I know it might be wishful thinking by traffic when we hit rush hour traffic, because it's really going to cause a big mess there. Look at that in the middle of your screen. Again, this is a water main break. So specifically, investigators saying this is at 6221 Southwest Freeway near West Park, very close to our Fox 26 studios here. I wonder if any of our employees or people who work here are affected by this water main break. But you know, whenever these water mains do break, it's just gallons and gallons of water spewed out. So hopefully this is going to be resolved soon, but not sure if that's the case. Let's go to Ramisha Shea to talk about our weekend plans. I know it's hot outside, so that's one of the good things. If it's not raining, so it's not adding to that water and the flooding that they're experiencing off of 59.
Well, the good thing is that we finally have a little rain showing up on our Fox 5 radar. Yes, it is hot. Those temps are close to 90, but it is nice to see a little bit of green showing up here. Of course, we've been abnormally dry for the last month to month and a half. Some areas for really the last 6 weeks, not even picking up 1/10 of an inch of rain. So nice to see a little bit of rain. Not much around Houston right now. We've got plenty of heat and humidity, but over into Liberty County, Liberty, Daycetta, there are a few showers around, so enjoy those because we certainly need it. Drought conditions are getting worse, of course, and the fire danger has been on the high side all week long. So it's a little bit lower today due to the fact that we do have more humidity and finally a few showers. Also, there are a few rain showers trying to hang on at this point around Eagle Lake, a little bit of rain action around Needville, but at this point, that is about it. Look at the drought monitor, and it is increasingly worse across the state. We've got close to 80% of the state in at least abnormally dry conditions. So that means a majority of the state really needs some rain. We've got extreme to exceptional drought for a big chunk of the Texas Hill Country. Houston in abnormally dry conditions, but west and southwest of Houston, we do have that moderate to severe drought back in the area. You can see that from Brenham to Sealy to Eagle Lake, East Bernard, and over towards Columbus and Wharton. Moderate drought conditions also in northeast Harris County, southeast Montgomery County, including Atascocita, and over into Liberty County, City of Liberty, right in the middle of that moderate drought. So this is the reason why it is so important for us to get some decent rainfall over the next few days. We've got drought conditions. We've got burn bans that have just been building day by day. Of course, Harris County was added most recently. So just about everyone, excluding Galveston County and Brazoria County, included in these burn bans. So that means outdoor burning not allowed in these counties you see under the burn bans. And even if you're not under a burn ban, it's still not a great idea. We are getting a little bit of relief. Fire danger a little lower today. That's in large part due to the fact that our relative humidity values are increasing. We've got that return flow, that southerly breeze coming in from the Gulf, and that is helping to kind of moisten the air up. But we still don't have a ton of rain out there. So we will stay on the humid side the next few days. But as we get into early next week, a cold front will bring in some super dry air late Sunday and Monday, and that will increase that fire danger again. Speaking of cold front, here it is. We've got that front stretching from really the Great Lakes through the plains all the way down to western parts of Texas. Notice ahead of the front, close to 90 here in H-Town. We're 1 degree away, 87 in Dallas. But behind the front, how about 75 in Amarillo? So a nice temperature gradient or temperature difference there in front of the cold front and behind the cold front. We do have some changes with this front. We will keep those temperatures above the norm, not just here, but really for much of the middle of the country, from the plains all the way up to the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, that very warm and steamy air surging up ahead of that front. Now, there will be some chilly air building in behind the front. It's not going to make it all the way down to Houston, but at least we will get in on some of the rain action with this front. So as we go through the morning and afternoon on Saturday, we are going to see the chance for a few showers here, spotty storms developing during the afternoon. Severe risk increases really to our north, from Dallas to Shreveport to Oklahoma City up towards St. Louis, Memphis. That is where the risk for severe weather is going to be the highest for tomorrow. You can see that line of showers and storms building tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening ahead of that front approaching the Tennessee Valley, and still getting some decent rain chances all the way down here in southeast Texas, including Houston, Sugar Land, Pearland, the Woodlands, and Galveston. So I don't expect a ton of rain, but there could be 1 or 2 strong storms, and we do have a very low severe risk for tomorrow. It does clip our north and northeastern counties, Walker County, San Jacinto, Polk County, maybe getting into northern parts of Liberty County. So if you're up around Huntsville, Cold Spring, you're actually in a risk for severe storms tomorrow. It's the lowest risk, 1 out of 5, but there's a possible risk. There's a chance that we could have maybe some small hail and maybe some wind gusts briefly over 50 miles per hour. So temperatures remain above the norm really through the end of the month. This takes us all the way through October 27th, and rain chances don't appear that impressive. Really through late October, we're in that near average category, so that means we'll get a little bit of rain here or there, but really to make up for all of the rain that we have not gotten over the last month and a half, we need above normal rain chances, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that, but at least we do get a few showers for this weekend. I don't think it's going to ruin your plans. A lot of big events going on, so hopefully you'll get out and enjoy and just keep an eye to the sky. Make sure you have a way to get alerts, especially up around Huntsville, Cold Spring, Livingston, maybe down to Liberty. Small chance of a strong to severe storm tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, take that allergy medicine too.
That's right. That ragweed still messing with us. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ramisha. And there are a couple of live events that we're following for you. We're expecting Ted Cruz to speak any moment now. We know that he is at Hobby Airport, and he will be speaking about how the government shutdown is impacting air travel. So that is on the left side of your screen there. That's inside Hobby Airport. And then on the right side, we are in Washington, D.C. for you. We are waiting on President Trump to speak. He is having a meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and they're expected to talk about several things, including the Tomahawk deal with Ukraine. Now, we do understand that Zelensky just left the White House, so he is expected to speak across the street, which is where you see the media set up there. So it's just a matter of moments before we hear from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, also possibly President Donald Trump as well, when it comes to what they spoke about, what they possibly agreed upon. So those are two things that we are currently monitoring right now. Also happening right now is this water main break. What a mess. You see one vehicle trying to get through there, but it seems like the water is receding, which is good news. Now, this water main break reported about an hour ago, hasn't even been an hour really. And so we're looking at the Southwest Freeway at Hillcroft. This is courtesy our Houston TransStar camera. And if you take a look, it's the feeder road lanes that are blocked off. And right here we have Skyfox Live. You can see, this is safe to say, it's several feet of water that has accumulated here on the feeder roadway. And the water seemed to be receding from the TransStar camera shot that we were looking at. This is Southwest Freeway near Westland and West Park area. So very heavily traveled area. It's just the feeder road. Good news is that the highway isn't being affected. But there seems to be so many businesses, they probably won't be able to get out anytime soon if they were planning on it because of this water main break and all of that water. If you are joining us just now, we're taking a look at Skyfox giving us these live images. If you take a look in the middle of your screen, all that brown there, that's water. And it's accumulated from this water main break. And that really is all the information that we have. And the pictures clearly tell the story, which is you can't get through. And the water looked like it was receding when we were looking at the Houston TransStar camera shot. And we have police officers who have blocked off the roadway so no cars that even try to attempt to go through, you know, they're going to go ahead and probably get stuck if they try and go through, which is why investigators have put those cones up there. Something else we're monitoring is this shooting. We just recently found out more information. So you see this crime scene tape here. It happened at a residence there, and we heard from the Harris County Sheriff's Office earlier, probably less than an hour ago, I would say 30 minutes or so, and he let us know that around 10:45 a.m., they received a call from a contractor who was cleaning a pool at that residence that he heard gunshots. The guy cleaning the pool left, and when investigators arrived, they found two women, a 27-year-old who allegedly shot her 61-year-old grandmother, and her grandmother died, and she was taken into custody. The 27-year-old wasn't saying anything to officers. She's being interviewed now, according to investigators. Don't know what caused this, but those two were, according to investigators, living in that home. And these shots rang out around 10:45. Now, the weapon was discovered. This happened near the kitchen area. Don't know if there was some sort of an argument that led up to it. And there was nothing which was alarming or concerning to police that led up to this when it comes to them being called out previously. The last time they were called out, investigators say, was about a year or two ago, and it was because of a welfare check. So unfortunately, it's just so hard to believe that someone would allegedly shoot and kill their grandmother, but that's the case here. 27-year-old allegedly shooting and killing her 61-year-old grandmother earlier this morning, something that we're monitoring as well. We'll have more Houston Live and Local coming up right after this. right. Well, the president of TSU earlier today gave a State of the University address. So let's listen into what they had to say.
You know, this is a rare occasion. I've got a podium that actually fits me. This is awesome. In the right place. Well, good morning to all of our chairman of the regents, foundation trustees, students, faculty, staff, alumni, donors, partners, friends, employees. Thank you so much for being here this morning. All of you are distinguished guests. And welcome to homecoming week. Our football Tigers are at a little slow start, but they are rolling right now, and we'll have the opportunity to enjoy their performance on the field tomorrow. As with all things, I start with giving glory to God for His grace, constant care, and mercy. I ask your blessing hand upon this university, O Lord, all who work and endeavor herein, and all the members of this Texas Southern University community. It is a privilege to stand before you today and offer my second State of the University address. We gather today to reflect on the journey of this past academic year, the effort expended, the achievements marked, and the road ahead. Texas Southern University enjoyed a number of wins during this past academic year. However, there is much work ahead of us to reach the vision of becoming the defining example of excellence and achievement in the 21st century. Texas Southern is moving with intentionality. Every action is executed with the purpose focused on two fundamental and singular outcomes: the integrity of the university and measurable student success. The diligence expended in this endeavor has created visible momentum across every domain of the campus. As I commence with my survey of our actions this year, I will start with gratitude. The expression of gratitude is an acknowledgement of the good in one's life brought by others. It also encourages one to be less self-concerned, but rather to view life through the lens of humility and community, affirming the goodness of others around us. I'm grateful for the excellent Texas Southern University faculty, staff, and administrators. I will speak momentarily about what our faculty has achieved. First, I want to speak about our dedicated staff. These hardworking heroes look for no recognition. They simply deliver what is needed day to day. From the landscapers to the custodial crew, to facilities and maintenance, the environmental health and safety, and the office professionals across every area of the campus, every area of university operations. They meet every task, whether routine or emergency, with a smile. The women and men of the Department of Public Safety and Chief Brown are the best in the business. For everyone else, homecoming is a celebration, time to have fun. For the DPS, homecoming is duty, exceedingly long hours, endurance, and boundless patience to ensure you and I enjoy the day in a safe environment, a reinvigorating environment. To our committed administrators, you have my deep esteem and appreciation. I've asked much of you, given you new expectations, imposed elevated standards, and pushed you daily to give more to the university. You have responded and continue to grow and march forward undeterred and undaunted. I also offer my thanks to our extraordinary Board of Regents. Thanks for being here today, Chairman Benham. They didn't ask me, but you're the right choice for this time. My thanks to our foundation trustees under the leadership of Dr. Frazier Wilson, and all of our supporters, partners, friends, alumni, and donors. Each of you have in some form or fashion contributed mightily to the excellence and achievement over this past academic year and helped pave the way into our future. Let me take a moment to talk about our most recent former chairman of the Board of Regents, Brandon Simmons. It would take far too long to talk about the professional and personal journey Brandon Simmons and I have been engaged in over this past year. I will simply say this partnership has been markedly remarkable in many measurable ways, some of which I will relate today. This university is a gem beyond price. Former Chairman Simmons has been a polishing cloth, buffing and shining this institution so all can see the sparkling jewel that is Texas Southern University. I've been blessed to walk beside him over these past months. As many of you undoubtedly know, he has been hand-selected by the governor to undertake an important role for the state in higher education. Although he leaves his official role with the university, I know we will continue to see him on campus. He loves this institution, and most of all, he loves our students. My friend, you're not here, but I wish you well in your next endeavor, all that you do for you and your family. Continuing with gratitude, I must recognize our elected leaders, from the governor, lieutenant governor, the legislature, to our Mayor Whitmire, who all made Texas Southern a priority, not merely in words or well wishes, but in tangible support and monetary outlays. The members of the 89th Texas legislative session, during my testimony, I said I came before you not simply to seek financial allocations, but to acquire your trust. A commodity without price, trust must be earned. However, with very little evidentiary data between us, you acknowledged my petition and made a significant investment in Texas Southern University and in me. I reconfirm my pledge to work.
All right, now we're going to shift over to Senator Ted Cruz, who is out at Hobby Airport. We're in day 17 of the shutdown. He's talking about how this affects air travel.
Through Houston. This begins with the TSA workers and the air traffic controllers right here at Hobby Airport and all around the country. This week, thousands of these agents and air traffic controllers received their first incomplete paycheck. They are now working to ensure that travelers reach their destination safely with zero pay. This summer, in the one big beautiful bill that President Trump signed into law on the 4th of July, I was proud to author an historic $12.5 billion investment to modernize our air traffic control systems, recognizing the vital role controllers play in moving American travelers safely and efficiently through our skies. Unfortunately, because of partisan pressure from the extreme left, Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats are taking the opposite approach. 11 times now, Republicans have voted to open the government, to fund the government, and 11 times, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have voted to shut the government, to take away the paychecks of the air traffic controllers and the TSA agents and federal agents all over this country. CNN even quoted an anonymous Democrat saying that the Democrat Party will not relent and will not reopen the government unless, quote, planes fall from the sky. This is not a joke. In Houston, airports had their busiest year on record in 2024, with over 63 million passengers moving through our city's airports. These passengers, who we have a responsibility to keep safe, are now worried about flying, experiencing longer delays, longer lines, more frequent delays, because the Democrats are playing political games with government funding. That's why I'm today announcing my bill to keep paying essential federal aviation and transportation security personnel during government shutdowns. My legislation, the Keep America Flying Act, would pay air traffic controllers, and TSA agents, along with other essential personnel during the Schumer shutdown, in order to keep our airports orderly, secure, and on time. Right now, all around the country, almost all of the 50,000 TSA agents and the 14,000 air traffic controllers are working for zero pay. That's not fair, and it's not right. Right here at Hobby Airport, the FAA has warned that ground stops are possible due to staffing shortages. The number of flight cancellations and delays is steadily rising. As Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said while visiting the Baltimore-Washington airport this week, it is time for Democrats to take a lesson from everyday hardworking Americans who keep our skies safe. We cannot allow Democrats to use our airports as political leverage to try to enact their own radical policy agenda. The employees at this airport are doing their job to keep people safe, which sadly is more than I could say for my Democrat colleagues. Right now, the government remains shut down in significant part because tomorrow, all across the country, protests, radical left protests, are expected from the so-called No Kings group. The No Kings group, funded by George Soros' system, among the co-sponsors of these radical protests, is the Communist Party of America. And I can tell you, my Democrat colleagues in Washington were terrified.
You've been listening live there to Senator Ted Cruz, currently at Hobby Airport right now, discussing the effects of the 17th day of the government shutdown, announcing a bill that would help pay for some of those positions, air traffic controllers, and so much more. Of course, we'll bring you the latest coming up on Texas Live and Local at 4 p.m. Join us then. Thank you.